Hello, hello, hello. I see my little image pop up on my second monitor here, and I believe that means that I am live. Welcome everyone. Um, I think I'm gonna wait until 9 to actually start. I just want to make sure that all my settings are correct this time because last time I actually forgot to turn the microphone on, which, yeah. A little bit of an oversight here. Yeah, now it seems like all my settings are good. Yes, all right. Let me enjoy a little bit of that tea. My personal favorite, and I must admit that it was Mr. Picard, the captain of the Enterprise, who sold me that tea, Earl Grey hot. That's how you take it. All right. So, my name is Emmanuel, and I am the author of Tales from the Interface, a web comic and a comic that you can physically purchase that takes place in a future where life has become so horrible that people will do anything to escape through virtual reality. But that virtual reality is rationed and only the most privileged have access to it. And our hero, Gauthier, must just learn of a way to gain more of it. So he's being hired by a company, but the company is not very clear on what that will entail to work for them. So we're kind of still wondering that. The leader of the company, Holloway, is being very evasive. All right, almost 9 now. I'm just setting up my software here. Tab. Remove the live logo. So I am at page 2021 today. And what I'll be doing is when these videos, these pages are actually finished, I'll post these videos in the comments of my pages so that people can see how I worked on the pages. I think it's an interesting add-on to the site. I hope people will enjoy it. So where we are now, we're on page 21, yeah. Clara and Che, which is the girl with the beret, they just walking through the archive, and they're looking at paintings. So I drew a few paintings already. Last week I drew the dinosaur scene here that you can see, and you can watch. Actually, I posted also a speed paint of it if you're curious to see my Discord my progress, how I go about doing a painting in an extreme fast motion. You can always check that out. I just wanted to double check if my sound was okay. Now I'm gonna get paranoid. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. All right. Yeah. So last week I did this painting, and then I did like another little painting here of a tree and a little scene, a little forest scene. What I like to do with these, at least for the black and white, it's because it gets hard to see the characters. So at least for the time being, I just lower the opacity of the painting itself, so just to give more of a make the characters stand out more. When I actually do it in color, I will probably try to use some colors that blend in a little bit more, and then the characters will be a little bit more saturated, so more bright colors, so that they stand out more. because they can easily get lost in that painting. All right. So in some places, trees grew as far as the eye can see. I have never seen that. But I remember seeing an article in National Geographic about the sequoia tree, and who can grow like really, really tall. And there was like a fold out, like kind of like a centerfold of it, where you would see the entire tree, and that was a very impressive image. So that's a little bit what I would like to capture here. Am I on the right page? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I already did the characters. This is my frame. Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is I am going to draw the ground level. And then that's interesting. If you see where the line is, it's cutting the head of my character, so I probably don't want to do that. Either you want to be like under or above. It just looks better. They call this a tangent. Okay, so this will be my ground level. And Che is doing like the little bit of the motion in Totoro when they all want to make the trees grow. So let's make a tree grow. All right. I remember sequoias had fairly big roots. It's always an idea to look at some quickly look at some pictures of sequoias. I'm gonna put some on. Let's see what a sequoia looks like. I know pretty much, but it's always good to okay, let's look at the result of a Google image. So you see how big the roots are, so that's interesting. They're very linear, and then very big roots, and they kind of, they kind of have a little skirt at the bottom. Often. And bubbles, that kind of looks like bubbles. I can play with that. That's interesting. Yeah, see that was kind of the picture I saw. It was like a super long tree, and then you saw like little tiny people climbing on it, looked like ants. That's a little bit what I want to hoping to accomplish here. No people, but just a tree. Yeah, I think I have an idea now, pretty much what I want to do. But it's always good to look back on some pictures and you know, get yourself an idea of what you're trying to accomplish. But you know, don't feel like you're bound to do anything about it. You can do whatever you want. You know, if you want to draw an alien tree, go right ahead. You know, maybe the roots are up there and the branches are down there. There's like a underground sun or something that powers the leaves underground, and then the roots are kind of grabbing the energy out of the air. I don't know. That's why it's fun to make up stuff. You just figure out something new. Remember, one of the tree had really like large roots. And they do seem like they were, you know, going on forever. Got to be careful about being too busy around my character. I'm doing. Okay, there was another layer here. Okay. Well, so kind of lost my layer. All right. Okay, so I'm just trying to adjust how the scene is broken. So you don't want to get tangents again, you know. You don't want to be too busy around where your characters are. No, what's wrong? Okay, I'm in white. I think I'll do a speed up of this one as well. I think it's pretty fun to see it sped up. And if people want to see me work on it at real time with some comments, they can also do that. But I feel my I didn't really want to do speed paints because why didn't I not want to do speed paints? It's because it kind of gives you a false impression of the work that's required. It looks easier when it's sped up. You know, it looks like it took less time than it actually did. So that's kind of a bad impression. I don't really like to give, but at the same time, you know, I guess we're all, you know, very busy, and you know, just for entertainment. I just hope people understand that they know it's sped up, but that what they see in 3 minutes is actually more than an hour of work, and then they don't get the false impression. And you know, especially young artists, you know, I don't want them to think that it's gonna be too easy, because then they're gonna get discouraged, which is the last thing I want. You know, the best thing about doing this is when you see a kid who's super interested in comics, and you've inspired them to continue. That's a great sensation. Yeah. And as I go forward, I probably when I started Tales from the Interface, I kind of wanted to do a more mature thing. So I did introduce some nudity there, but I kind of say, oh, I'm gonna go for it. But then looking back at it, I don't think it, you know, it added much to the story. You know, obviously some people liked it, and personally, I personally don't mind, but it's kind of blocking me from an audience who could enjoy the book otherwise. Although my stories are not, you know, really for young children. I think it's there's some subtlety to it that you know, they can't, you know, at least most of them won't be able to really grasp, because it's just a matter of, you know, experience and like being an adult, and I've been seeing things. Often pine trees, they will have dead branch. I'm not sure how true as that is for sequoias, but I'm going back to my reference a little bit. Just, you know, I'm not trying to copy anything. I'm really trying to get a sense of the trees, you know, how they grow. It's funny here. You see this one, the middle is all empty. There's no branches, and the branches don't go far from the main tree itself, and they're mainly on top. And the top is often broken too. That's interesting. You see there's some texture like this on the tree. Yeah. This is an interesting concept. See, I put it there without thinking about it. But then you see all three bubbles are lined up. So that's something our mind tries to do. They always try to organize things. When you're doing this kind of natural settings, it will look off if it's organized. That's why drawing clouds is really tricky. I'm gonna draw clouds a little bit later, and you can see the trick is really to try to find the pattern and avoid them. But then when you think about them, you want to do them. So it is a bit tricky, I have to say. See, I get again the branches were the same size. Yeah, we instinctually try to organize things in sizes, and that's how our mind works. Randomizing is not easy at all. Somebody asked me, why do you turn your canvas so much? Well, this is a inking habit. So by turning the canvas, your hands will find a more natural curve. It's very hard to do a curve like this straight on, but like this, it's much smoother. Look at the curve like this. Look at the curve like this. It's much more difficult, and it's hard. See, I can do a large circle here. Here I can only do a very small one. But if I turn my canvas, I can do those curves. So I don't know. I really don't need to actually turn when I'm doing a sketch scene. I guess I got so used to it that I just do it by instinct now. When I used to work traditionally, basically the same thing. See, again, I try to do one here when there's another one. You know, your brain is trying to trick you. Don't let him. He's a sneaky one. Okay, I kind of like my tree now. Wondering if maybe the roots are a little bit too small. No problem. Yeah, I'm just gonna add a little bit more bulk to the bottom. These trees, they like lines, you know. That's the bark. So, and you're in the sketch phase, so who cares? All right. Forgive me. Just want to take a sip of tea. Alright, that's the stuff. Okay. Beside my tree, what looks often very nice, is a little bush, or perhaps I've seen this before. It was super cool. Sometimes sequoias, there's a kind of sequoia they call the ghost sequoia, and it's kind of a parasitic sequoia. So it's very interesting how it works. It's a tree, and if I remember correctly, it's the only kind of of plant that is an actual albino. I know there's some symbiotic plants that are mushroom and plant, and then they called well, I don't know in English what they're called, but it's really cool in the forest. You can see those little white plants. Anyway, that's not it. It's if I remember correctly, they were actual albino sequoia, and they couldn't produce chlorophyll, so they were entirely white. Very impressive. And they only grow on another sequoia. Sequoias are actually clones. It's always the same tree that falls up. They fall down, and then more sequoia grow from the main tree. So that's why they're often in rows. You know, I've never been to a sequoia forest, but I do enjoy them. I think they're such an amazing tree. Yeah, so they grow in lines often because they just follow the parent tree, and yeah, so this one is it's kind of a clone, but it's albino. I don't know how that works exactly. You can look it up. It's very interesting and very beautiful. Yeah, I'm just gonna concentrate on my drawing and not go to Google. Fight Google. All right, so I have this now. And do I want another one here? Two. Yeah, I think it will be interesting. I'll make them on another layer to see if I really like it. So I said one here, one here, probably. Okay, let's see how it looks. All right. So the general shape. Like this. So there we'll be coming out of the back here. My rotation broke on one side again. Is it? Why does that? So weird. It's like there's two shortcuts to turn my board like I do all the time. And after a while, one side, always the same size, blocks. And it is a complete mystery to me why it does that. I really wish I knew. If you know, please tell me, because it's been driving me wild. Yeah, I kinda won't like it. So if I remove them, put them, remove them, both look good. Alright, let me try something else. Instead of trees, I'm gonna keep my layer. I'm gonna try some clouds, and then I can show you what I meant earlier. Perhaps I can keep the clouds and the trees too. See, I did 3 circles, but they're almost the same. So again, my mind is trying to give me a pattern instead of doing something different. It's extremely difficult. That's with clouds. I often will try again and again and again until I have something more random, because it looks so much more natural like this. Now it's better. You don't see the line behind the tree, so yeah. But I could perhaps change it a little bit like that. I think to me this looks more natural. And then if I want, I can have the trees on top, and then there is a tangent here. So maybe if I move the trees a bit, and then the clouds. Oops. The clouds and the background trees a little bit. Yeah. See how better it is? Now you can see the shape of the tree, you can see the shape of the cloud. Everybody's happy. Here is a little bit tricky. I can probably fix that in the inking while I'm inking. Yeah. But I kind of like it. So now I'm just gonna add some little bit birds. Did you used to draw birds like that? It's easy to draw a bird, you just have to do an M. That's a nice painting. Doing this little painting has been a fun experience for me. And on the next page I have like 10 of them to do. But they're fun, like little compositions. Okay, so I have my 3 layers. You know what, I'm gonna group them in one folder. And I'm gonna lower the opacity so that I can start inking. And we're about half the hour done, so I believe I can finish this painting in an hour, which is nice. So I'll need a new layer. I'll choose my my pen brush, my quill, and I've barely changed the setting in this in Clip Paint. I think that their basic tools are extremely good. I really have not much to say about them. I mean, it's pretty much what I want. So I haven't changed them. The only thing with Clip Paint is that the UI is really unusual. It is a Japanese program, so maybe to them, it's more what they are used to. But coming from a Photoshop experience, I started doing Photoshop when I was 14, so that's too many years ago. It was a bit weird, to get used to, frankly. And I didn't want to do it. It took me a really long time to say, okay, forget about what you're used to. Just go ahead and just learn something new. And I did, and I'm happy about it. There's still a lot I don't understand about the program, like why does my turning shortcut stops? And could it be my keyboard was broken? I don't know. Hopefully one day I'll figure it out. I've been giving some thought to try hosting these live on Twitch. It seems like Twitch is really geared towards Actually, this is the only thing they do, live events. So maybe it's a better place to hold these live videos. I don't know, but I think I should probably give it a try. I just need to figure out not figure out, but finish setting up my channel there. It is again a very weird interface. I don't know. I don't like it too much, but I guess I have to try. So little branch, squiggly lines for branches. I have a whole book on Chinese ink painting, and I really love how they make very natural looking. I should study that more. You know, they show how to do all these kind of leaves. It's a recipe, but it's a good recipe. All the kind of leaves, ferns, bamboo, whatever. They all have these little. And that's how you do this way. You do this one this way. And it's quite nice actually. I should study that. But it's always a. You know, I have a goal. I want to finish my pages, and so every time I do anything else, it's always a tearing me apart. I mean, it sounds bigger than it is, but going away 1 minute away from the page means that your book will be done 1 minute later, and those minutes really add up. You know, if I used to love playing games, but you know, I decided no, you know, it's fun, but it's not. You know, I don't get anything from it at the end. I mean, I end up with nothing. So that's why I kind of said no. You know what? I won't be playing games. I'll be drawing. So for that time that you are actually playing games. You can accomplish so much more. That's, you know, I know it's fun. I know it can be relaxing. So people need it. That's totally fine. I'm just saying, you know, from my end, I do feel a drive that I want to get this done. If you don't, if you just like watching, that's fine too. We all have our own paths. You don't have to follow mine. I hope you like what I do, though. Starting to look like something. But again, look at that. Repeating pattern. Those three roots are almost the same. So that I'm not happy about that. And I'll come back to it. I mean, the texture is good. They look kind of good, but they're the same time. They're almost the same, so it looks unnatural. I'm just getting through those branches. Inking is such a relaxing thing. I don't know if it's what I like the best, but it is very relaxing and rewarding. Sketching is fun, but it is more... there's two kinds of sketching. When you're trying to find how to do something, which can get annoying. And then there's the sketching where you're very dynamic, how do I say, gestural, like... and this is the more fun part, like when you do live sketches, you try to capture the essence of the movement in the least line possible, those kind of thing. That's fun. I don't know enough of those live sketches. I should. Yesterday my daughter said, "Can you teach me how to draw?" And I said, "Oh, really?" She never really asked before. That was fun. So probably, I can do some live sketches with her. But at that age, they want a quick thing. They want a quick solution. I think it's important that they have fun more than anything. The joy of drawing. Yeah. When I was her age, drawing was really an escape for me. I would draw those Bigfoot and like monsters and stuff like that. Kind of lost interest in Bigfoots at one point, but for one, I remember when I was in first grade, they were the best thing ever. I didn't have a lot of Bigfoot cars, so, and then I wanted them to be armed to the teeth, like a Mad Max situation, like with spikes on the wheels and whatever. I want to make a comic about that one day. I took some notes. It's just that I need to get this done first. Not too sure I'm gonna color this when the lines are not closed. It's always a bit trickier. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Yeah, I like it. Just gonna add some more bark. So you want to have more texture on this side first, because the lines of the bark will be more concentrated on the sides. And then as you go inside, you can space it out a little bit more. Again, I try to keep in mind, you know, my lines, to make them like everyone the same, so it looks weird. So I try to vary the distance so it looks more natural. Sometimes you can have like little things going on to play with it a little bit. You know, you want to make it look alive. It is alive after all, right? Yeah. Okay, so that root situation is really bugging me, so I'm gonna look at that now. So what I'm gonna do is gonna lower my sketch a little bit more. I'm gonna lower my ink. I'm gonna take another color and I'm gonna try to figure that out. So no, that's not a good color. Let's try something warmer like this. Yeah. I'm keeping in mind that I have a hand here, so maybe. Just trying to make it more interesting, more varied. I'm gonna reduce the size of this thing a bit. There are gonna be some rocks at the bottom with some plants that will help to break it up a bit. Okay. Okay, let's try that again. Again, I have two big roots there. Goes inside here and it will be dark. Yeah, it is more interesting. I think, yeah. Instead of having like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the almost the same thing, kind of two big roots and then something going on. So yeah, it's good. So I'm just gonna erase the background. Okay. Let's try to do the other trees now. Alright, that's pretty much my painting. And we're about time as well. Yo. Okay. Maybe some little things there, some ferns. Yeah, I'm kind of happy how this turned out. Let me just bring up the frame a bit. Where's the frame? Here? Alright, yeah. And let's do a top-down view. In some places, trees grew as far as the eye can see. And it's gonna bleed out in the page. Yeah, and my tree is trying to get out of my frame a bit. I can cut that out. And that's about it for this session of Live from the Interface. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I would love to hear your comments. Please do make them. I love to hear what you're thinking, and I want to know how you think I can improve this channel, what you like, what you don't like, what you would like to see. And please, if you can if you can subscribe, that will help me tremendously, because this is all it's the only way this channel can grow and reach more people, because when YouTube sees that the number, it takes into account the number of likes when it recommends a video. So if I want to be recommended, then I need people to approve of what I do. Otherwise you're stuck in your little corner of the internet and nobody knows what you're doing. So please take a moment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Please take care of yourself and have fun drawing. Bye.